All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're taking a really fascinating room-by-room tour of the hidden, everyday chemicals we interact with without even realizing it. We live in this incredibly advanced modern world, which is great, but one of the unforeseen side effects of all that advancement is that our daily environments are often quietly loaded with invisible compounds.
So let me ask you something right off the bat. How many toxic things do you think you touch or interact with every single day without even knowing it? Think about it. From the moment you wake up, pour a glass of water, cook your breakfast, and just breathe the air in your living room, you're coming into contact with synthetic compounds. And over time, this constant invisible exposure can really start to mess with our hormones, our sleep, our skin, and just our baseline energy levels. Now, to be absolutely clear here, our journey today is entirely about awareness, not fear. Because once you actually understand what's hanging around in your environment, you are totally empowered to make smarter, simpler choices.
Here is a quick roadmap of the tour we're taking today. We're going to rethink our daily water, spot some hidden kitchen hazards, look at improving indoor air quality, and finally, audit our cleaning routines.
Section 1. Rethinking your daily water. Let's begin right in the kitchen with a simple glass of water, and challenge a very common assumption. A lot of us just assume that if water is bottled and sold in a store, it's automatically healthy and pure, right? But as we're going to see, the container matters just as much as the water itself.
It's honestly wild when you look at the specific compounds that plastic bottles can release right into our drinking water. We're talking about microplastics, BPA, and phthalates. And these aren't just trendy buzzwords, they are structural chemicals used to make plastics flexible and durable. The really critical detail to remember here is that the risks of these compounds leaching increase significantly when these bottles are exposed to heat, sitting in sunlight, or simply stored for a long time. Just picture pallets of bottled water baking inside a hot delivery truck.
Now, to really get why stuff like BPA matters to our biology, we have to talk about the endocrine system. The endocrine system is essentially the control network in your body that helps regulate your hormones, metabolism, mood, energy, and reproduction. Researchers study compounds like BPA specifically because they're known as endocrine disruptors. BPA, for instance, is heavily discussed in scientific research because it can actually mimic estrogen-like activity in the body, so when we're drinking from heated plastic, we might unknowingly be introducing compounds that completely confuse our body's natural regulatory systems.
So, what's the smarter play here? Well, folks who are really dialed into natural wellness often swap to natural spring water options. We're talking brands like Mountain Valley Spring Water, Evian, Fiji, Saratoga, or Gerolsteiner. Unlike highly processed water, natural spring water comes directly from underground sources, so it naturally contains beneficial minerals like magnesium, calcium, and potassium. And by combining high-quality spring water with glass or stainless steel storage, you effectively bypass that whole plastic leaching problem altogether.
Moving on to Section 2, Hidden Hazards in Kitchens. Let's head a bit deeper into the heart of the home. This is where we prep our food every single day, and it's definitely time to look a bit closer at the very surfaces and pots we use to cook our meals. Think about something as totally basic as a cutting board. Wood cutting boards look great, and they've been used for centuries, but from a modern sanitation perspective, wood is highly porous. If a wooden board stays wet or cracks or just isn't cleaned perfectly, those tiny little grooves can trap moisture, raw meat bacteria, and even mold over time. That is exactly why there's a growing shift toward alternatives like titanium or stainless steel. Those surfaces are completely non-porous, corrosion-resistant, and incredibly easy to sanitize thoroughly, which just wipes out that hidden bacterial risk.
And you know, this hidden risk gets even bigger when we look at the actual chemicals in our cookware. This is easily one of the biggest toxin conversations happening right now. PFAS, often referred to as forever chemicals, are chemicals historically used in manufacturing older nonstick cookware. They earn that nickname for a reason. They can persist in the environment and in our bodies for incredibly long periods of time. Researchers are actively studying PFAS exposure for possible associations with hormone disruption, metabolic changes, and liver stress. Because let's face it, cooking a super healthy meal on degraded chemicals kind of defeats the whole purpose of eating well, right?
But it's actually not just the nonstick coatings we need to watch out for. Damaged or just generally low-quality cookware can also lead to metal leaching. Depending on the heat, everyday wear and tear, and especially when you're cooking acidic stuff like tomatoes, cheap cookware can release trace amounts of heavy metals directly into your food. We're talking aluminum, nickel, and sometimes even lead contamination. And excessive exposure to those heavy metals over time may negatively impact your nervous system function and overall cellular health. So the fix here is pretty straightforward.
We really want to move away from those older non-stick pans with their potential PFAS exposure and heavy metal risks and transition to safer, non-toxic alternatives. Some excellent, safer swaps include high-quality stainless steel, ceramic-coated pans, or titanium cookware. Brands like Chef's Foundry get mentioned a lot as a fantastic toxin-conscious alternative, giving you all that non-stick convenience without the hidden chemical payload.
All right, Section 3, Invisible Indoor Air Pollution. Stepping out of the kitchen, let's talk about the environment we are literally breathing in right this second. A lot of us operate under this assumption that pollution is strictly an outside problem, smog, car exhaust, factories. But the reality indoors is often a totally different story.
It is honestly kind of shocking how varied indoor pollutants can be. Modern homes are built to be tightly sealed for energy efficiency, which, hey, is awesome for your heating bill, but it's kind of terrible for air circulation. It ends up trapping a massive variety of pollutants inside: dust particles, pet dander, mold spores, and cooking smoke. But pay special attention to volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, and chemical fumes. These originate from completely everyday things just sitting in your living room. We're talking scented candles, fresh paint, new furniture off-gassing, and synthetic air fresheners.
The immediate, actionable solution to poor indoor air quality is active filtration. Getting a HEPA filter and a really high-quality air purifier, like an Air Doctor system, helps physically capture these incredibly small airborne particles way before they ever make it into your lungs. Honestly, actively filtering your indoor air can be an absolute game-changer for mitigating mysterious headaches, unexplained fatigue, asthma, and that annoying daily allergy irritation.
And we've got to connect this indoor air pollution issue directly back to our cleaning cabinets. Think about it. When you spray a typical commercial cleaner, those particles are aerosolized and you inhale them straight into your respiratory system. You've got harsh chemicals like ammonia, bleach, phthalates, formaldehyde-releasing preservatives, and super heavy synthetic fragrance compounds. These are the exact chemical fumes contributing to that poor air quality we just talked about. They're often what's causing those headaches and breathing issues, right as you're just trying to make your home look clean.
But the good news is, keeping a spotless home absolutely does not require a hazmat suit. You can easily swap to much simpler alternatives. Brands like Branch Basics, for instance, offer some incredible non-toxic cleaning concentrates, laundry solutions, and hand soaps. By making just this one swap, you drastically reduce your entire household's daily exposure to synthetic fragrances and harsh respiratory irritants, all while keeping your place beautifully clean.
Which brings us to Section 4, Small Choices, Cumulative Health. As we wrap up our home tour, I want to take a step back. When you see all of these invisible compounds laid out one after another, it is super easy to feel a bit overwhelmed. But that is the exact opposite of our goal today.
If you take away just one thing from this explainer, let it be this. The goal is not perfection. The goal is simply reducing unnecessary exposure. Building a toxin-free lifestyle is not about panicking over every single item in your house or throwing everything away overnight. It's really an empowering journey of awareness. It's about looking at the things you use every single day, your water, your pans, your air, and making simple, incremental upgrades wherever you reasonably can.
Because human health is incredibly cumulative. It's the small daily choices that truly compound over time. Upgrading to cleaner water, filtering your air, using safer cookware, and buying simpler products that actively supports your biology right now. It supports better daily energy, clearer breathing, and aids your natural hormone balance and recovery. It's crazy, but people will often spend thousands and thousands of dollars trying to treat mysterious health problems later in life while completely ignoring the environment they're exposing themselves to every single day. By shifting your habits right now, you are actively investing in your long-term wellness.
So I want to leave you with one final, highly actionable question to chew on. What is one toxic product you want to replace first? Just pick one. Maybe it's finally swapping out that scratched-up nonstick pan. Maybe it's picking up a good glass water bottle, or just tossing out those heavily fragranced cleaning sprays. Evaluate your own home today, pick that single starting point, and take one simple step toward clean living. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and here's to a healthier, much more aware environment for you and your family.